Hi and welcome. I'm John and this is Unique Wargaming Terrain. Guys, welcome back. For everyone that's new, this is a Let's Build video. What are these Let's Build videos about? Well, I take a model kit and I'll show you how to put it together. If there's any points of concern on the sprue, or if there's anything you need to be careful when taking it off the sprue, this is for you. If you have struggle with instructions, or you have dyslexia or anything like that, or if you're looking at a particular model to add to your faction, your army, or if you're thinking of starting a new army but you're not sure of how difficult the models are to put together because they look quite elaborate and all of that, again, this is a visual aid to help you and show you how easy they are. And if they're easy, they're easy. If they're not, then you know you're aware of how difficult they are. All my regulars here, guys, I feel the love. Thank you very much. I'll see you in a second. Right, guys, this seems to be a habit of me knocking the camera. What am I building today? Today I'm going to build a Lokhust heavy destroyer. My Necrons need some heavy firepower, and now we've got it. Look how mean that it looks. So before we pop the sprue out, tools needed as usual: mold line scraper. You can use a hobby knife or a scalpel blade. Clippers, the most useful tool that we have. It's a plastic kit, so plastic glue. I do have super glue on hand in case I need to glue something quickly, and I do have sanding sponge. I might need to get a new piece of sanding sponge out, but there's sanding sponge as well. The sanding sponge, for anyone that asks me, is sponge with sanding paper either side. It's easy for folding up and getting to little nooks and grooves, and if there's a delicate part, like for example, the horns of this guy. If I want to get in between there, I can just put the sanding sponge in there and just work away. So I'm going to get the sprue out. We're going to have a look at it. Right, so here's the sprue. Wow, a lot of parts there. And it looks a little bit intimidating, to be honest. But before we even start panicking about that or worrying about that, there's something we need to look at first. The Lokhust destroyer, Lokhust heavy destroyer, has an option of 2 weapons. Okay. So the big one is on the front of the box, and this other one. Now, straight away, this is one weapon. These 2 pieces here, and this piece, and there's the other piece here. So these 2 pieces are the one that's on the box. Yeah, and these 2 are the other weapon. Now, in all honesty, this one looks like the easiest to paint, but this looks menacing. So look at the stat lines of it actually. The first one does a lot of shots, a lot of damage range, yeah. 1 damage a piece. That's the big boy. Okay, but there's a lot of shots. A strength of 7, which is not too bad. AP -1, which is going to do nothing against Space Marines and power armoured combatants. There's this one, and he does 1 shot, but it's strength 10, -4 AP, so it'll be -3 for power armour wearing characters, and it's 3d3 damage. So that could punch some serious, but that looks mean. I'm going to go with this one on this build, okay? But when I get to the point to putting the arm on, I'll show you which way it goes. You can use, some people will magnetize it, so you can just switch them out if you want, but I don't do that. So as usual, we're going to have a look at the kit so we can identify things that we can identify. Well, straight away, there's his little head, there's his body. Okay, that looks like his little bits that go with his engine, because there was the engine parts. Look at the camera again, sorry guys. But we've already established that there is his weapons. This is for his base. So there's his spine. It's another paste part. Looks like the back of his body. Looks like his top carapace parts, which I usually paint them blue, don't I? So there are a good few pieces here. The first thing I think we should do is build the engine part of him, which is going to be 1, 2 and 3, which is this one, and number 3 is this piece here. Okay, so I'm going to take those 3 pieces off. Now I'm already thinking about my big bumbling hands in this little piece and some of these other little pieces. So just be careful with them. You don't drop them on the floor and never find them again. Just take your time. I'm going to clip them off, give them a clean down, and dry fit them, see how they come together. And I'll come back to you. As you just noticed, there's another head there. I haven't looked through the instructions to that point, but there might be 2 different heads for each weapon, one for each weapon. I'm not sure, but I'll let you know when I get to that point. So I'm going to take these off, clean these down, dry fit them, and come back to you then, guys. First, I've dry fitted it, nice and easy. So this little piece goes in the front here. Literally just slots in that little gap. Okay. Then what you have to do is you're going to run the glue around the edge here. And this piece, so there's a little half semicircle there, it just slots over the top, like so. They go together, go on, get in there, together like that. So I'm going to just, it doesn't seem to have sat properly, but I'm going to just take it apart and make sure I get it in properly. Probably my little angle, but I'll come back to you when I've done that. Right, I figured out what I'd done wrong. I had this front little bit, I had it the wrong way around. So now I've sorted it out, it sits in nicely. Give it a little squeeze, make sure this sits in there. All I'm going to do is just run a little bit of glue just along the little joins to get rid of all the join lines and all the usual nice stuff. Apart from that, that's the way it goes. So the next pieces I need, oh, these are going to be a pain now. I think this is where the pain backside starts. I need number 9, 10, 11. Well, there's number 9. Okay, these are heel bolts. Number 10 and 11. Where are you? There's number 11. So number 10 has to be a smaller one or a bigger one. Where are we? I'll find it and I'll come back to you guys. Right, so I need 9, 10 and 11. This one's I need, isn't it? So I'm looking for them. Yeah. So 9, 10 and 11. I'm going to snip those off, clean them down and dry fit them, see how well they go and come back to you with them. Right, unfortunately I've made a bit of a boo-boo. This is not the next part. Okay, the next part actually goes onto this thing. But I'm going to show you this part first, because there's 2 of them, they're both done slightly different, but I'm going to show you this part first, then I go back and do this part. So I've got 9, 10 and 11 taken off, cleaned down. Now number 10 is a small piece, okay, but when you look at the inside here, there are 3 small holes. So number 10 literally just clips in there, and number 11 clips in the middle one. It should do. I'm going to figure out why that's not gone in properly, but there, that's basically how it goes. Yeah, and then so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these out, I'm going to put some plastic glue in there and put them back in, and I'll come back to you then and show you the bit that I missed. So I do apologise that I missed that. I sort of jumped ahead on myself on the instructions. Right, so the bit I actually need is number 4, which is this lovely piece here, and number 5, which is this little piece here. They're the two bits they actually need for the engine part. So what I'm going to do is I can clip those off, clean them down, and come dry fit them and come back and show you where they go. Right, this is very, very simple. This part has a hole there, just by my thumb. There's nothing the other side, yeah? So that hole, that bit goes on there. I'm not going to push it all the way on, but that goes on there. You can see it lines up at the bottom here nicely. Now that little circle there, this has a little circle on it, and that goes over the top there. So it connects like that. Again, like I've not pushed it all the way on because I want to put some glue onto it, but that is how it goes. So I'm going to glue those together and then come back to you again. So here it looks. Absolutely fantastic. Very, very simple, very easy. That's where I so far. Now, because I jumped ahead, sort of messed up. This one goes on like that. Okay, that's where it goes. So the other one will be the other way around, and they go like that, and the pipes will come into the little gaps in there. So I'm going to show you the other one now, just so there's no confusion, because there is a little. I looked at it first and I was like, what? What we need, number 6, which is this one here. Yeah, number 6. Actually, no, that's number 6. That's one we just done. That's number 9. Okay, well, it doesn't really matter. They're both the same. This one it would be that way around, but this one, number 11, which is big piece here, and again number 8, which is the same piece here. Okay, I'm going to snip those off, give them a clean down, and come back to you, show you how they go. Right, so I've cleaned them all down. Now this one, the other one was done this way around. Okay, this one is done this way around, so it's different. So that little one goes in there again, medium one goes in there. Now I'm just going to put it on, I'm not going to glue it in for a minute, I'm just going to dry fit it on. Actually, I've done that wrong. It goes this way on. Let me start again. Oh dear me. So it goes this way around. It still goes in the same places, but this pipe goes to the bottom, and there's a little bit at the top here, goes up the top. And then this one, the pipe goes down. And the reason I'm dry fitting it in is because I'm going to line it up and see how it looks. Yeah, that goes on there. Nice. This one then goes on that side. Okay, so that's how it looks. So I'm going to glue this one together. I'm going to glue that in and glue the other one in. Okay, and I'll come back to you then with the look at the next part that we need. Right, what we need then are these two carapace bits. Okay, so I'm going to snip those off, clean them down, and I'll show you where they go. Right, so these are two bits. They're the same, but they're different. Okay, so they're the same, but just different way around. Now this is how they go. This little, let's get the focus. This little knobble bit there, that bit glues into it. So it just goes on top there, covers the whole piece. Yeah. Yeah, it goes on there. So how that lines up, now look, like that. Okay, so you see a little bit of the engine, not too much of the engine. Well, the engine, the exhausts. So I'm going to glue them on, and I'm going to come back to you then, because the other one does the same thing, just the other way around. I'll come back to you then for the next part. Right, so the next part is the actual guy himself. We need 14, which is this piece here. 15, which is his top carapace that goes on top of his head, like so his shoulder pad, sorry. And we need his spinal column, which is number 16. Okay, because his head sits on that little bit there. Okay, so I'm going to snip those off, clean them down, and come back and show you how they go together. I just want to say one thing before I carry on and show you how to do this. It's absolutely cold here, so I have the camera on touchscreen so I can actually see what I'm filming, as opposed to facing me, and the touchscreen's not recognising my fingers, the heat from my body, because it's not just very cold. So that's why when I touch the to stop filming, sometimes it's not registering straight away, and it's sort of just a bit weird on me, but I do apologise. But here we are. Here's the 3 pieces. Now this spinal column, okay, it keeps trying to go out of focus as well. There's 2 little knobbly bits at the bottom here, okay, they go through the 2 holes there. So let me just get them on there. They go on like that, yeah. Now what happens then is, on the back of this there's 2 little knobbly bits, they go on into there, like so, because then you can have the arms and stuff on sorry, you can have focus, you can have the arms of the chest and the chest piece to go on. So I'm going to glue those together and come back to you then for the next piece, which should be the arms, I think. Right, so then we need these 2 arms, which is this one here, 19, and 18, which is down here. Now you look at them and they look a bit weird, but there's a flat piece on each of them. That's because that's where the weapon slots into, because the weapon has the hand parts on them already, so that's where that slots into. We're going to take this one off as well, because the arms go in, then this goes over the top. So I'm going to take the 2 arms and the chest piece off, clean them down, and come back to you then. Right, and this is how simple they are. So this is, goes in there, yeah. This one, let's go in there. I think it does, yeah. No, it goes that way around. That's right. Yeah, that goes in there. So I'm not even doing it on camera. Sorry, guys. So this one goes in there. Okay. And then this one goes in there. Checks if that double, yeah, that ball's meant to be on there. That goes in there. And then the chest piece, these 2 bottom bits go into those 2 bottom bits. You glue the arms in first, and it literally just sits over the top. Okay, the arms hanging out. I'm not going to push it in because it might be a pain backside to come out, because you're meant to be able to put this together from push fit. Just push fit it together. So anyway, I'm going to glue those in and then come back to you after that. Wait a minute, hold on a second. No, I took the wrong one off, didn't I? I did. That's why. Disregard that one. That's the wrong one. It's meant to be that one. 17. I took off, what did I take off? I took off the wrong one, should have been 19, yeah, which is that one. I took off 18 by mistake, so disregard that one, sorry. So 17. Okay, 17 goes in this side. I wondered why it wasn't fitting properly. So the small one goes that side. The number, what did I say, what, 17? Yeah, 17 goes that side, and then the chest piece goes at the front. So I'm going to snip 17 off, clean it down, glue them into place, and glue the chest piece on, and I'll come back to you then, guys. Right, whilst I've got the right hand in now, I don't know why they have arms in there. I've scaled the instructions and they don't seem to be used anywhere, so I don't know what that's for. Oh no, I've discovered what it's for. Yeah, no, it's for one of the weapon options, sorry. It's for the weapon option that I'm not using, so, which is bizarre, because the box artwork actually has him having the big gun that I'm not going to use, but then it shows you how to put the other gun arm on. It's bizarre. But anyway, that's how it looks. Yeah. So now it's the head. So there's 2 heads on the sprue. There's one there, number 27, and there's number 28. So I don't think it matters what head. No, heads are optional. So I'm going to snip one of those off, and that literally glues in there, just into there. So I'm going to snip it off and glue that on. Snip it off, clean it, and then glue it on. Sorry, that's me knocking everything. Now, dealing with heads like this, it's a small thing. So what I do is I pinch it between my fingers, and I run the sanding sponge over, and then turn it around. I'm going to keep running the sanding sponge over, and I do this 4 or 5 times until I'm happy with what I've got. Now, I always do it, say, above the table or above somewhere where if I do drop it, I'm going to find it. So I'm going to glue that on, but also there's a little hole in the back there. That's where the little hole goes on there. Yeah, so this glues into there. I'm going to do that on and come back to you. Right, so the weapon I'm going for is this big force flare blaster thing. Now, you have a tentacle here, which is number 25. Yeah, that's part of this gun. Okay, so it comes from his back across into the gun, whereas this one doesn't have it. Let's have a look, see. I think it comes in there. I think it comes out of there, goes over his shoulder into the gun, but the gun I'm taking doesn't have it. So I'm going to clip these two bits off, and the first one I need is number 20, which is this one. This glues onto the model first of all. Literally, you can see where it goes in. Should be a flat piece somewhere. I'll figure out when I get it down to the model, and then this piece just glues onto it. So I'm going to clip them off, clean them down, and come back to you then. And the reason, this is a brilliant reason why I use plastic glue, because let's say it wasn't lined up perfectly. With the plastic glue, it gives you a bit of play time. So then I could glue this on. It's not lined up properly. Let me glue it. Maybe move the gun a little bit, move the arm a little bit. Okay, now it's perfect. And then you know, sit and hold it until it sets properly. But with super glue, you can't do that, because by now the super glue would have been dried, and I would have to, you know, mess around a lot with it. So I'll clip them off, clean them down, and show you how they go on. Before I glue the gun on, I think I'm actually meant to glue him onto there. I'll just check the instructions. I think I was meant to glue this piece, top of this spine, into, before I put the chest piece on top. Damn it. So what I'm going to have to do is try and leave it. I don't think I'm going to be able to open that now. Will I be able to open it? I'm going to try and open it and then glue it together. Okay, I'll come back to you again, guys. Right, so I couldn't get it open, so I've just glued it in as best as I can. Let me show you the instructions here so you can see. Look, it's supposed to go like that. Now, anyone that's built Necron Warriors, when you get to this part, you put the chest piece on. The chest piece usually holds the arms in properly until it sets. You forget about this, doing this bit. So that's where I went wrong. Okay, so that should have gone across there on the little spinal column itself. Now, this is part of the beauty of these videos. I've made a mistake there. Okay, I fixed it, and I'll be able to fix it, it's not a problem. But because I've made the mistake, you guys will be aware of it and won't make the same mistake. And any Necron player will turn around and say to you, yeah, I did that the first time, or I started to do that and then I realised. So I'm going to leave that for a few minutes to dry. But basically, this is how the gun goes on. So you have this little square bit here, and this little square bit here. It literally just sits in there like that. Okay. And then this part of the gun, as you can see, it's the mirror image that goes. You see the little circle there, and that little back square, little circle there, and it just goes over the top. It's that simple. So I'm going to leave it to dry for a few minutes, and then I'm going to come back and work away on it. Right, a few things. The extra arm, I said disregard that. No, they don't disregard that. That's where it goes. It goes in the side that supports the weapon. Okay. I had to switch a bit of super glue to get super glue in there because it wouldn't sit properly. Now, the next, I can't even put it down because this little part is the bit I need next. Now, the model's basically done. There's 3 holes on the base. He goes on the back on here, but he actually goes into this piece first. Okay, so this piece goes into the base. Let's have a look. Yeah, it goes into the base. There's a little hole that goes into the hole in the base. I'm not knocking everything over. He then sits into that little peg bit at the bottom, sits into there. Now there are another 4 bits. 1, 2, where are we? 3, and this little piece here. They go into the, you can pick whatever other 2 you want to go into the other holes. So I'm going to snip the ones I want off, glue them in. Obviously I need that big piece, you just go into that. But things like this, I'm going to put this together, not now, but you know, and when I'm dealing with a nice big model, I'm going to put it together and I'm going to put it on the base and have the actual, whatever big model is, standing on it. So it's like stuff for terrain for the base itself. So I'm going to snip those off and I'm going to come back to you when he's finished, because that's all I need to do is those dark bits and glue them in. And there we have him, all nice and done. Very simple after that little mistake that I made. So he just literally just sits in there. Now these little bits that go in, anyone that's put Necron Warriors together will know the hexagon shape, and I think the Space Marine Primaris have the same thing on their base. It's the same bit with these guys. I've gone for these two big pieces to go in the holes, only because they're bigger, they're easier to clean, and when I put the paint job on them, they're really going to stand out against the gravel and stand out against the model. Now before I shoot off and show you some pretty pictures, let me just show you, where are we, on page, let me just flip around. So the other gun, okay, which is this beautiful piece of technology, and this tentacle, okay. So the tentacle goes in the side, that little side bit that I showed you, and comes over the shoulder. Now with the gun, you put it together the same way as the other gun. Two bits go in, the little slabs, the little slots. The tentacle actually connects in the top here, okay. And then the front bit goes over the top, and then the front bit goes on the front now. That's the only difference with the two weapons and how they fit together. But I know this video is going to help someone, because I made 2 mistakes on this video, which I've able to rectify, but it means you guys won't make the same mistakes. The first mistake I made was with putting the carapace together onto the spine. That's the first mistake I made, unfortunately. But what's the second mistake? I made another mistake as well. Oh, I unclipped the wrong engine exhaust wings. It doesn't matter so much because they are the same. You just put them in the different way round. So you guys just, you know, you're aware of that now, and you can see that. Now in terms of casting lines, the only casting lines that I really came across was on top of the straight edge of the gun and on his arms. That's it. Everything else was pretty much mold line free. So it's actually fantastic. So what I'm going to do now, or what you guys are going to do now, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please hit the subscribe button, because it helps the channel in a massive way. It means I can do more videos like this and other painting videos and stuff like that. If you haven't subscribed, hit that button, turn your notifications on. Guys, everyone hit that thumbs up button for me, please. And I'm going to bring you down and show you some pretty pictures. Difficulty rating, I'd give this one probably a 4.5, maybe a 5. The reason being, it's not that hard to put together, okay. It's just very intimidating when you pull it out and you've got all these various parts, and there's a few multiple options like head, weapon. You know, there is a different arm that goes in the different one. No, so there isn't a different arm. There's the heads and the weapons, and then the bits that go in the base. There's extra parts that you don't need, but they're nice to have. So I'd give it a 4.5 to a 5 for difficulty. It does say on the box that you can push this together, okay, without any glue. I wouldn't do it that way. I would, you know, dry fit it as normal and then just glue it as normal, because then it's set. You haven't got to worry about an arm falling off or bits falling out. Excuse me. So I'm going to bring you down to show some pretty pictures now. Hit the buttons for me, please, guys. Until next time, take it easy.